Hey y'all, welcome to the kitchen here at Honeybee Hollow Gardens. My name is Taylor and I wanted to show you guys a savory and highly seasonal dish that we cook a lot here in our home this time of year. I'm going to be utilizing sweet potatoes that came from Jess's farm at Roots and Refuge. And we will also be using our butternut squash that we grew here in Honeybee Hollow, on top of deer sausage that we harvested here from our land as well. This is great to pair alongside your Thanksgiving meal. However, this is also great as a breakfast item. So let's get started. We'll go ahead and get our oven set to 400 degrees. 1 onion, which this is obviously a red onion, but it doesn't really matter what you use. This was just what I had on hand. This is also garlic that we grew here. For the butternut squash, I'm just going to cut these ends off. It's actually pretty soft. The ones you buy in the store can sometimes be really dense, especially if you're trying to peel it. Which leads me to saying also, we are not going to be peeling this butternut squash. A lot of recipes utilizing butternut squash recommend that you peel it first. I don't really know why it is recommended that we peel our butternut squash. It might be because they put an edible wax over it that preserves it, I guess, in traveling and whatnot, and so it will last a little longer, but I don't know if I really want to eat it either way. So, but these are grown here, so I'm not too concerned about there being any type of toxin that's on the outside of these. I do know though some people will find the texture of the peel off-putting. My mother-in-law doesn't really like the texture of butternut squash peels, so that is something to consider. If you already know that, then maybe take the time to peel it. I actually like the denseness and the texture of the butternut squash. And then the rest of this is just going to be composted. You do want your butternut squash and sweet potato pieces, you want them to be cut into like a dice, so that because they're going into the oven for a kind of short amount of time. We're going to peel our sweet potatoes, which these are purple sweet potatoes, as we can see, very obviously. The oil that I like to use when I roast things is avocado oil. It just has a higher smoke point and it won't burn on you as fast. A couple of healthy pinches of salt. Give it a good toss. Pan could be a little bit too small for all of this squash, but I am putting this in my convection oven, which is a pretty dry and hot heat. So I'm not too concerned about these kind of steaming because it's going to be a really dry oven anyways. If you're not using convection heat, I would recommend making sure you've got a lot more spacing. Now we're going to pop them in our oven. It's nice and preheated. real hot. So we're gonna let those roast for about 20-25 minutes. We cut them up really slowly so they don't need to roast for too long. Now I'm about to start cooking up the sausage, the onions, and the herbs and everything. And like I had said earlier, we're using our deer sausage that we harvested from our land. But you can use pork, beef, turkey, chicken, whatever you want to use. It doesn't matter, just as long as it hasn't been cased and it's just the ground sausage. Our sweet potatoes and squash should be coming out soon, but I'm going to give them a quick peek just to see how we're looking. Ooh. It's looking good. Oh yes. I think I'm going to let my squash go just a touch longer, but not much. The squash is a little bit denser than the sweet potatoes are going to be, so you're going to want to roast those just a little bit longer. Oh, it smells lovely in here. And I'm just going to cut these off for right now until the squash are finished. After this, I'm going to add in the sweet potatoes and the squash, and it'll pretty much be done. And there's our timer for our squash. All right. Now it's time for the taste test. I haven't eaten this since last fall, so I'm excited to be eating this right now. This is so good. Now, there can be a lot of different variations in this. I used sage and rosemary as my herbs, but you could use thyme, you could use maybe a little oregano, whatever you have on hand. And we have all of those, but I really love the sage and rosemary combination. I do have a little bit more sausage in here with the sausage to squash and sweet potato ratio. So that might be something you keep in mind. I would have liked to have had more squash and sweet potato in here, but I didn't really think about how much sausage I had, but this is so good. If you are a fan of having sweet potatoes in a sweet dish, and you've never had anything, and you've never done it in a savory way, this is definitely a good place to start. Another thing that could be really good to put in here, if you have any greens on hand, like any spinach or kale, to throw them in. If you do that last, once you finish cooking, and then let that residual heat wilt them down, that is also a really good way to do this. I hope that if you guys try this, that you enjoy it. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think of it. If you do anything different, please let me know if it turns out to be good. I'd like to know how you do it, because I'm down to always change this recipe up, because we eat it so much this time of year. It would be nice to be able to have some different variations and ways of doing things. But thanks for hanging out with me today. Hope you loved this video, and I hope you love the recipe. Until next time, guys.